The temple seems to be very prevalent in today's readings. In the first book of Samuel, we can't really go into it, and it's really worth going back at some point if you and read the book of Samuel, because it's quite a soap opera of Hannah trying to conceive a child, and she has this run-in with Eli, and eventually, obviously, Hannah does conceive a son, and eventually, as the reading says, the reading really condenses it strongly here, Hannah then brings the child Samuel back to the temple and says, Eli, here is what you talked about. You told me I was going to have a son many, many years ago, and sure enough, I have brought him back to you, and now here he is, and I am leaving him here. He is now part of the temple, part of the worship. And she walks away. And that's pretty strong for a mother to do that, to send her son to the temple and then just walk away. Well, obviously, now we have the connection with Jesus and the Holy Family. Same thing again. We see the temple situation. The temple is very important here now. The center of worship, the center of religion, the center of life, if you will. However, we also find that the Holy Family has now moved out. They're in journey. And as the reading says, Mary and Joseph have journeyed about a day out in a caravan, a big old group of people, and they realize suddenly Jesus is not there, which is kind of unusual. And we think about this, and the reading is quite horrible. If we think about it in certain ways, we've kind of romanticized this reading. But if we really put ourselves into the situation and really use our imagination and walk along with Jesus and, Joseph and Mary, we will see that this could be quite disturbing. Well, obviously, Jesus is missing. And now it takes approximately 3 days to catch up with him. Now, if you were a parent and your child was missing for 3 days, think of the horror you would be going through. This is a horrible situation. And that's what I mean. We kind of dismiss the horror of the reading because we know the conclusion. But we have to walk through the horror first. And we have to walk with Joseph and Mary, so that we can get to the conclusion. And I maintain that Joseph and Mary is basically our life here. We're on a journey of life. We're in the great caravan of life, and off we go. And we're journeying wherever we go. However, there's something kind of disturbing about this. According to this reading, and I'd like to think about it, there are times when we get into a caravan and we start to go, and you know what? It might not be the direction we should be going. And we always do this, and sometimes in our busy life, we just get busy doing things. You know how busy our life has become, and we become distracted. All of us have become distracted at times, and we find ourselves just kind of being pushed along almost by life. And as we go and start making decisions. This is happening, that's happening, and we're trying to balance everything and trying to get everything just right in our heads, or trying to figure out what's going on. We'd be way down the line. Now, as Christians, here's what we expect. We expect Jesus to be with us. Why? Because as Christians, Jesus, He's our bud, He's our pal, Jesus walks with us, we have a special relationship with Jesus. And as Christians, we kind of can get all gooey with this kind of sentiment. And if we don't watch out, we can be way out there in the caravan. And we look around, and there's no Jesus. We're mad, we're upset, things are not going our way. And now where's our special bud? Where's our special Jesus? Where's my co-pilot? He's not with us. Today's readings tell us something quite significant. Sometimes Jesus does not walk with us, especially if we're going in a path where He has not called us to go. Because in my life, it's all about me. I want to lead the caravan. I want the caravan to go in my direction. I want you to go in my direction. I want you to listen to me. I want most everybody around me to listen to me. I want things my way. Now, I'm saying that kind of blatant. I sugarcoat that, and I change it, and I manipulate. So what I just said was pretty blatant and ugly, just to show you the point. But normally during life and when I'm dealing with my friends, I don't make it quite as ugly as that. I do try to manipulate them in other ways, which we all do, all of us. So there we are down the caravan, and we're out there. Joseph and Mary did the same thing. Here's the greatest family, the model family, of which we all are to copy ourselves. And even Joseph and Mary lost Jesus. Even they did. They were out there. And then they looked around, and Jesus was not there. It took them 3 days to find Jesus. It had to be 3 hard days for them. And our life is the same way. We get ourselves out there, and suddenly we look around, and we expect God, but we don't feel Him, we don't hear Him, we don't sense Him, because He ain't there. So where is He? Well, Joseph and Mary find Jesus, and here's another part of this reading that's quite difficult. When the parents saw him, they were astonished, and his mother said to him, "Son, why have you done this to us? Your father and I have been looking with great anxiety." It's exactly what we do to Jesus. That's a great prayer. Jesus, why have you done this to me? I've been out there. I've been on the caravan. I've been in life. And there's a lot of anxiety that I've been dealing with. Where were you? And Jesus' response, "Why were you looking for me? Did you not know that I was in my Father's house?" "But I went out on a journey." And Jesus' response says, "I didn't tell you to. I'm here. You want to go out there because you want to go out there. This is not where I want you." The temple. Back to the temple. This is my Father's house. We tend to stray from the Father's house. We like to go our own way, and we tend to go out and about. Even Joseph and Mary did the same thing. So today they teach us a very important lesson. We have to listen to God and to make sure that where we're going is the right direction. But how in the world do you know that? That is a difficult question. It takes prayer, but most importantly as well, and along with prayer, it's how we are dealing with life. And now I'd like to conclude here with the letter of St. Paul. St. Paul, thank the Lord, helps us out, us people here in the pews. Because where is this temple? What does that mean? You know, we could go to a church, and that's important. There's nothing wrong with going to a church and praying. I'm not saying that. That's very important. But how about the rest of the day? How do we know we're in the right caravan? And here's the list. Put on as God's chosen one, holy and beloved. That's us. Here we go. Compassion, kindness, humility, gentleness, patience, bearing with one another, forgiving one another. 7 great things there, all during the day. We have to make sure that we are doing those 7 virtues. Those 7 virtues are a guide for us on the caravan. If we are doing those things, then we are truly in the right direction. And Jesus is with us. And over all of these, put on love. How do we deal with one another? How are we getting through the day? And I'm talking about the very moment we wake up and we're conscious. We wake up, our eyes open, and there's other human beings before us. How do we treat them? Are we so busy that we ignore people, or we try to not see, and we kind of are rude and impatient with people? If we find ourselves in that situation, we're in the wrong caravan. If we find ourselves thinking some pretty ugly thoughts about unforgiveness, or when we're just angry and hanging on to stuff that we should really be letting go of and forgiving, we're in the wrong caravan. If we're just not acting right, if we're just downright rude, we're in the wrong caravan. So today, the Holy Family teaches us that it's all about coming back to Jesus, back to the temple, back to God. And in that relationship between all three, then suddenly we grow in love, and the community itself will also be much better.